Did you know that there's a visible line some women develop during labor that can correlate with dilation? Or that your baby may leave cells behind in your body for years after your pregnancy? Or that colostrum acts almost like a natural immune and digestive support system for your newborn? Birth physiology is full of weird, fascinating, and honestly pretty incredible details. So today I'm sharing with you 5 fun physiology facts that you may have never heard before. Let's get into it. Welcome to DIY Birth. I'm Kaya, traditionally trained birth guardian, birth educator, and mother of 4 unassisted home birthed boys. I love alliterations. 5 fun physiology facts, birth related, in there, in parentheses. Okay, so number 1, fetal microchimerism. What the heck is that? Fetal microchimerism is the presence of fetal cells in the mother's body that have crossed, like the cells have crossed the placenta during pregnancy. So that's like literally it's the baby cells. It's a different person from the mom's cells floating around in mom's body, like hanging out in her cells, amongst her cells, which already is pretty cool to me. These cells are found in virtually all maternal tissues. So like they've found them in bone marrow, they've found them in organs, in blood, in virtually all tissues. They have found fetal cells from previous pregnancies. Researchers found that these cells sometimes even help with maternal tissue repair or immune regulation. Like they actually function in the mother's body alongside her cells doing the work with mom. That is so freaking cool. So like baby cells, it seems like, and it is pretty convoluted to try and like read into all of this, but it seems like the cells can almost take on any job. And I'm sure that's not quite right, technically, scientifically, but it seemed like if baby cells sort of wandered into mom's liver or whatever, and like, God forbid she had some kind of something going on with her liver, baby's cell would be like, we're going to help repair alongside all of mom's cells that were already working on the repair. Like baby jumps in there, gets some elbow grease in there alongside mom's cells. It's not solid. It's not like set. They think this is what they're finding in their research about this, which is already incredibly fascinating. So I have this quote from a PubMed article. During pregnancy, fetal and maternal genetic material is exchanged across the placenta. We know this. Because of this bidirectional transfer of cells, a woman may host cells of fetal origin from her pregnancies and cells of maternal origin from her own mother. So I might and probably do have cells that are not just like my mom gave me her DNA and that's how I was built kind of thing. I have literally her cells in my body. Furthermore, the same woman might host other cells transferred from her mother during fetal life, including cells possibly stemming from older siblings, vanishing twins, which is when there were twins in the womb and one of the twins sadly died and they are it's like early enough in gestation that they are reabsorbed into the surviving twin. That's called a vanishing twin. Including cells possibly stemming from older siblings, vanishing twin, or prior maternal termination of pregnancy. So that's even if mom had an abortion, the fetal cells, I wonder if it depends on like gestational age, like what gestational age the abortion occurred, but mom will still have that baby's cells in her body, even though she terminated the pregnancy, even though she aborted the baby, which is still just like super fascinating. So there's a whole, philosophical avenue that I could go on that just on its own, but I just think it's like, just in general, like crazy. So like I have an older sister, I could potentially have some of my sister's cells with me, and I have some of my mom's cells with me. I'm trying to see if I had it in my notes. No, I don't. But I saw elsewhere that this idea that I might have cells from my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, also floating around in my body. A science blog article, another quote from a science article sciencey article from Science Blog. Here's a quote from that article. Previous research led by experts at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. This is like I copy and pasted this quote, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm assuming Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Previous research led by experts there has shown that these persistent cells are not accidental souvenirs of pregnancy, but play a surprising role in helping mothers remember previous pregnancies so that their immune systems better tolerate a fetus that expresses foreign traits derived from the father. So this is another really fascinating idea about this fetal microchimerism, is that it might be, which of course it is, but it might be by design in order for mom to essentially adapt, like her cells and her body to adapt to foreign cells being in her body, so that like if she had a miscarriage or, just a previous pregnancy, her next pregnancies, her body is even more prepped and ready to accept potential foreign cells from subsequent pregnancies, which makes sense because if you go back and watch my placenta videos, we learn about the baby's side of the placenta being all dad's DNA. And so I wonder if that's a part of this whole thing, is that having these cells and having mom's body be more forgiving of foreign cells. I wonder if dad's DNA on baby's side of the placenta also has dad's cells in it. I don't actually know the answer to that, but that's another interesting question. Okay, so fetal microchimerism. That's number one cool, random fun fact that I wanted to share with you guys. That this idea that we carry with us the cell, like I could be an old lady and I will still carry with me the cells of my children. So that's absolutely beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, number 2, cervix collagen restructuring for pregnancy and labor. This is another fun fact that's really fascinating. Okay, so if you remember from my previous videos, the cervix's job in pregnancy, or maybe I haven't gotten into it exactly this way, but the cervix's job during pregnancy and birth, during pregnancy, the job is to stay closed, basically. To keep everything out. It's to close the gates so that baby has a closed environment that is safe and no bacteria is getting in and out and all of that kind of stuff. Cervix's job is to stay completely closed. During labor and birth, the cervix's job is to dilate and ultimately let baby through the gates, right? So what people have done in modern medical traditions is like they force dilation if they think that people aren't dilating fast enough. By, one of the methods is that they go in there in what's called a stretch and sweep, where they literally put fingers up there and physically, manually, push around and stretch things out, but with their fingers, right? Another method is what's called a Foley balloon. And there are different names for these, but essentially picture a deflated balloon that they've put in position and then they're blowing it up, gradually, but they just that's how they're dilating the cervix. And it's at any, they'll do this at any point that they see fit. They call it induction, they're doing it for inductions, they're doing it for, stalled labor and all that kind of stuff. And they just do it, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be for a woman that is actually in labor, because if they're doing it for an induction earlier in her pregnancy, when she hasn't yet gone into natural labor or even been showing signs of going into labor, they'll do this as a part of their induction. Not all the time, but this is one of the methods. I'm telling you that because of what we're about to learn about the cervix. So from this PubMed article, we have this quote: cervical remodeling during pregnancy is not uniform across the cervix. The collagen fibers orient progressively, more perpendicular to the cervical canals in the inner cervical zone, but do not reorient in other regions. I found the best liver supplements and collagen out there, and I found it just for you and for me. I found it actually for me first, but now I'm sharing it with you. Okay, introducing Kosher Carnivore. They have beef liver capsules that are crafted in small batches from pasture-raised grass-fed cows, ranch to table in Florida. There are absolutely no fillers, flow agents, GMOs, or allergens. 100% freeze-dried and 100% glot kosher. Beef liver is nature's true superfood with over 23 different vitamins and minerals made bioavailable by God himself, including iron and copper. A powerful supplement during pregnancy and postpartum, but honestly, it's powerful for everyone in any season of life. Kosher Carnivore now offers collagen and creatine as well from the same great sources. This is a brand that deeply cares about quality, so don't miss out. Get 15% off your Kosher Carnivore order when you use code Chaya. Follow the link in the show notes and get shopping. So what does that mean? Okay, we've got the cervix. Can I orient myself? So this is the cervix, pretend. Okay, that means the cervical canal that they're talking about is like this inner part of my finger, okay? And this part gradually reorients itself, the collagen in the cervix, the actual like collagen fibers of the cervix reorient themselves to be more perpendicular. So that's like this is the in and out, right? So they're actually going to reorient themselves so that they're more like this instead of kind of like all like woven into themselves, okay, which is how they are otherwise. So during pregnancy, the cervix tissue, collagen tissue is like all kind of jumbled up around itself, like all like a basket weaving, but not as uniform as a pattern. It's just all a mess. And then gradually, as she naturally dilates, naturally is in labor, the collagen that's closest to the canal, closest to the opening, gradually goes from all jumbled up like this to gradually over time, again, hormonally and all of that, gradually becomes perpendicular to the opening. And what then needs to happen? It's obviously gonna dilate and open up because that's actually what's happening. It's the cervix doesn't just go, woo, a baby. It actually is being pulled away by the contractions and everything. But imagine trying to shove a balloon in that little hole right there when all the fibers are like this and you're trying to force this. It's like the like those finger traps. You're just shoving that open. That's how you're gonna do it. So this was talking about, the collagen fibers orient progressively, and they orient perpendicular to the cervical canal, around the cervical canal, and other parts of the cervix. It's not being reoriented as much. But if you think about what we actually need from the cervix, we don't need it to do that. We just need it to soften up in the way that it is, and the way that it does naturally. So to me, this is like we have the science for Foley balloons. We can throw all those out the window as an induction method, and all these methods where we're just like clawing open the cervix. Maybe there's an actual design and like a situation happening here where naturally letting it open up in the way that it's designed is going to be the least damaging, least traumatic to the tissues, least traumatic to the woman, and all of this kind of stuff. Like if we just leave it alone. And now here we finally have some actual like research to back up that some of those methods are a bit barbaric, is the flag that I'm planting. What I'm trying to do with this information aside, this is just super fascinating, super freaking cool. As with all of my episodes ever, anytime I'm quoting research or stats or whatever, I always have the citations in the show notes. So if you ever want to like look into any of this stuff more deeply, go check out my show notes, the links in the show notes, so that you can see for yourself what I'm talking about. Okay, number 3, baby releases beta endorphins in labor. And if you don't know all of the labor hormones yet, then you need to go check out my video, Labor Hormones Simplified. But I'll just give you a brief explanation for this purpose. Okay, beta endorphins are what kick in for mom to let off the contractions to like oxytocin climbs, beta endorphins are down here, and they switch. So we've got oxytocin, which brings on contractions. That's a lot of pressure and all of that stuff, right? And then beta endorphins kick in at some point, and the contractions wane, and the oxytocin wanes, and we've got the beta endorphins kicking in, right? To give everybody a break. So baby releasing beta endorphins in labor is really valuable, because if baby is trying to communicate to mom's body that this is too much, like mom's having a contraction and the baby's like, okay, this is too much. All right. Baby will secrete beta endorphins, and mom's body will respond to that by waning the oxytocin and the contractions. So baby is communicating with mom's body, just like mom's body is communicating with itself. Baby is communicating with mom's body, and in a very, very wise, very important way, because a lot of, just as a side rant, there are synthetic oxytocins that don't play ball with the other hormones. And so often what will cause emergency C-sections is that baby goes into distress. And what if baby was able to communicate to mom that hey, this is too much. I need, need this lay off a little bit. But those synthetic oxytocins don't communicate in the same kind of way. So baby might have been trying to say, hey, this is too much. And the synthetic oxytocins are like, la, 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 la. And then baby has to communicate by other means, which can sometimes mean a low heart rate or other things going on that then trigger the medical system to be like, hey, we need to respond to this. So baby, if it's a home birth or community-based birth and stuff like that, baby can communicate, this is a little too much, with the beta endorphins. And as long as there aren't any drugs getting in the way of that, mom's body will respond to that chemical release, which is super cool. It helps prevent hypoxia, which is inadequate oxygenation for the baby. There are a lot of serious, health implications with this communication. So it's another really cool fun fact that I wanted to share with you guys. Number 4 is the purple line. So the purple line is actually a red or purple or darkish line. It kind of depends on the skin tone that rises from the anal margin, the butt crack, and extends upwards in correlation with dilation and baby's station. Correlation with dilation and baby station. Accidental rhyming, but it correlates with dilation and baby station, which is how far down baby is in the pelvis and all of that. In a 2010 study, they found that 76% of women had this purple line. It was visible at some point in labor. It's more likely to be visible around 4 centimeters dilated and onward. But the big thing with this is that it's a decent alternative instead of cervical exams. Okay, because again, what is this line? It's a visible from the outside line that is correlating with dilation. So as mom is dilating, this line is going upwards, and it does go away. So calm down if you're worried about it. But it goes up correlating with dilation. So in that study, what they did is that they saw this line on women, however many centimeters, we'll say 5 centimeters. She's 5 centimeters, or the line is 5 centimeters long. Someone went in for a cervical exam and found that she was, in fact, 5-ish centimeters dilated. So instead of having to do a cervical exam, which you don't ever have to do a cervical exam, but if you wanted to know dilation for whatever reason, you, the mom, or husband, or, sister who's there in the birth space, or, medical professional, birth professional, if you want to know dilation for whatever reason, you don't have to do a cervical exam. If she's got the purple line, or the red line, the dark line, whatever, then that is a legitimate measurement of dilation, and you don't have to touch her, you don't have to do anything. You could if she's squatting over there and you see the purple line and you're really wanting to know dilation for whatever reason, you could hold up a measuring tape from afar, not super far, because obviously you're not going to get an accurate, but kind of hover it and not even touch her, right? To find out her dilation, because it's legitimate. I don't know why I didn't put it here, but I'm pretty sure in that study they found that 100%, it was like a 90, wasn't 100%, I don't think, but it was like 98% accurate with like dilation, her actual dilation. They measured the line and it correlated with dilation almost exactly every single time when it was present. So it's legitimate and it's freaking cool, and not enough people know about it, and we can totally do these instead of cervical exams if you really, really need to know how far somebody's dilated and stuff. So number 5 is colostrum. So this is the first form of breast milk. It's like really dark, like really rich in color. It's very like yellowy golden, which gives its nickname liquid gold. But it's called liquid gold not just from the color, but because it's like super highly concentrated in like everything good, anything a newborn should need. So like proteins, vitamins, minerals. It has way higher protein than like normal, more mature milk. It also has less fat because it's not necessarily what's needed in that moment. It has maternal antibodies in it. It has white blood cells. It has lactoferrin, and so many more things. And it's only in a small quantity. Like there's not a ton of colostrum that comes out because baby's stomach is like super, super tiny, and they barely need anything. But that's why colostrum is so like high powered, like high impact in such a small volume, because it's everything the baby needs, while they can't like hold very much in their body. Colostrum also contains growth factors, and oligosaccharides, which help strengthen the gut lining, support good bacteria. It's all about like kind of setting up the digestive tract of the newborn, like setting it up for optimal health, like all the barriers that are needed, all the good bacteria that's needed, all the good stuff, like because baby hasn't really been using their digestive system really at all yet. They've been receiving nutrients and things through the placenta up until this point. So now colostrum is one of those things that sort of like gets everything online, protects what needs protecting, and lubricates what needs lubricating, and gives the nutrients and everything to like set baby up to get going. It has a natural laxative effect, and this is good because it helps baby pass meconium, helps them eliminate waste. If there is, for some reason, they're at risk of like, becoming jaundiced, as long as they're able to eliminate waste, they're going to be able to eliminate excess bilirubin, which is what causes jaundice. It's not causing jaundice, but that is jaundice. There's an overload of bilirubin in the body, in the baby's body. So if they're able to eliminate that, get rid of it, then they're going to, heal that faster, and they're lower risk for jaundice. Colostrum also helps stabilize their blood sugar and supports their brain and organ development. It's everything. It is gold. It's like, it's magic. Breast milk itself is super magical, but colostrum is like the penultimate magic thing. And it's almost funny to me that it's like, it really does come in such a small quantity. It just makes me think of high value things, right? Supply and demand, right? It's super, super valuable, for baby's health. And ironically, just like a side fun fact, historically, there were lots of cultures that for some reason, like, came to believe that colostrum was actually like bad for the baby. And I believe that's actually something that's like continued in other cultures and other parts of the world, that people are working to try and correct that misunderstanding. It's really funny what humans are good at doing for themselves out there, good at really kind of screwing themselves up from, usually overthinking, I guess. But anyway. Colostrum is liquid gold. It's amazing. It's super high-powered, nutrient-dense, and really, really important, especially for the newborn. So It's fun fact number 5, and that pretty much concludes our episode, our video of 5 fun birth-related physiology facts. If you're new here and preparing for sovereign birth, start with the Secret series. It's private and designed to orient you properly, so details in the show notes. Otherwise, feel free to share your input in the comments below and try to keep things civilized. Remember, we can only do the best we can with the tools we have at the time. Let me know, what was your favorite fun fact? Do you have another one that you can share with us? Is there something else that you know about one of the things I talked about that I didn't talk about here? I'd love to hear it in the comments. So if you've gotten value out of this video, give us a like, subscribe, and consider donating through my website at earthboundparenting.org. Otherwise, that's it. So with that, bye-bye for now.